I'm delighted that all of you could join us for our law school's 29th annual presentation of the Rutter Award for Excellence in Teaching. At various times in the year, we come together to celebrate various types of activities and achievements, whether it's for students, we do report, we do ceremonies, graduation. For alumni, we have reunions, we have Alumni of the Year awards. This is one of the nicest, I love each one of them, so don't tell anybody that I'm saying this is one of the most wonderful, but this is when we celebrate faculty. And faculty, as alumni, as with alumni and as with students, are the core of our enterprise. But we wouldn't be a school if we didn't have fabulous faculty teaching our students. And today is a day to honor teaching, and it's to honor a professor each year who does superlative teaching. And before I begin talking about our awardee, Steve Bainbridge, I'd like to first thank and introduce the man who established this award, Bill Rutter, who's sitting right over there. Bill made a number of important contributions to legal education, although he's probably best remembered by most of the people in this building for his creation of the Gilbert's outlines. I know I have a bunch of them sitting in my basement, actually not here since in California you typically don't have basements, but my at least metaphorical basement in my mind, the box is someplace. Now, as a result of including this, he also established the Rutter Group, which is now owned by West Publishing, which has been, the Rutter Group being a long-time provider of high-quality educational materials and seminars for legal education, for the legal community. And for decades, lawyers have relied on this material, and it's been indispensable to our profession. Among the achievements of Bill Rutter is his conception of the Rutter Award in 1979 to recognize the outstanding commitment to an accomplishment in teaching, an honor granted in 3 California schools, his own alma mater, USC, UC Davis, and here at UCLA. I'm not going to ask why those 3 schools, but...
the other 2 as well, Davis and Berkeley.
Berkeley has one too, so I got to change that. And I'm also delighted that Bill has given us something even, I won't say even better than the Rutter Award, but very special, just like the Rutter Award, which is his son, Paul Rutter, who's a graduate of the law school. Paul, what class were you in?
78.
Class 30th reunion this year. So Paul's having his 30th reunion, and he's a member of our board of advisors at the law school. We owe you, Bill, tremendous gratitude for establishing this award and really making us think one day out of the year about teaching. And we think about it all the time, but this is one day we really come together and think about teaching. And at UCLA, teaching matters. Our graduates go on to become leaders of the state. They become leaders of the bar. And our job as teachers is to train them, to inspire them, to push them harder than they thought they could ever be pushed, to achieve mastery of the law and everything about the law. While the general quality of instruction here at the law school is extraordinarily high, if you look at the student evaluations of faculty as one indicator of that, I mean, it's astounding how high the student rankings of faculty are. Steve Bainbridge, like other Rutter Award winners, is really quite exceptional. Steve joined UCLA as a professor of law in 1997, following a 9-year appointment at the University of Illinois College of Law, and you were visiting professor here for 1 year. Prior to that, Steve was an associate at Arnold and Porter and a law clerk from the Honorable Frank Kaufman, who was the Chief Judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland. In 2005, Steve was named to the William Warren Chair in Law. And now, this past weekend, we had Admitted Students Week. We had a bunch of activities on Saturday night, we had them all in on Sunday, where we had lunch and things like that. And I always address them. And what I tell them is, I tell them a bunch of things about teaching at the law school, all of which are true in terms of how great the level of teaching is. But I tell them something, they should care about scholarship. They should care about the scholarship of their professors. Why should they care about the scholarship of their professors? Because scholarship is what gives life to teaching. People who are doing scholarship, who are actively engaged in ideas, are fresh in terms of how they think, they're engaged, they're excited about what they're teaching. And Steve is a perfect example of a faculty member whose excellence in teaching is matched by an accomplishment, by huge accomplishments in scholarship. He's the author, I was counting through his resume today, and I know I didn't double count each edition of your book, so this is just single volume. He has 7 books and 64 articles, and that's probably out of date, on a wide variety of topics, and really an eclectic variety of topics. Some are on corporate governance, some are on law and economics, some are on Catholicism and the law of Catholic institutions. His very, very opinionated blog, Professor Bainbridge, is also very, very popular. According to a recent ranking, we have two very, very popular blogs here. We have the Bala Conspiracy, I think Eugene's over there, and Professor Bainbridge, and they both are duking it out for which one of our blogs is the most popular, but they're both extremely popular. The last month, I think I just saw something that shows it's the 11th most clicked on legal blog in the country. On that blog, one can learn anything one wants to know about corporate law, politics, at least as Steve sees politics, law school, at least as Steve sees law school, Steve's dog, very close to his dog through that blog, and perhaps most importantly, his views on wine. He's got a multifaceted blog. And one thing that, speaking of wine, one of the things that some of you may not know, I'm sure it won't surprise you, is Steve is one of our most active goodwill ambassadors, and he uses wine as his tool. He has hosted wine tastings in Los Angeles, I believe San Diego, or was it Orange County? Once you go that far, I lose track.
Somewhere below the crush.
Somewhere you have to leave at 3 o'clock to get by 6. But in any event, he's hosted there, and he's also hosted wine tastings on the East Coast with our alumni, and it's always a very exciting moment, and people have come back with all sorts of wonderful comments about it. But today we're not here to celebrate Steve the scholar, except as it relates to teaching, Steve the blogger, Steve the onophile, which I'm amazed that I spelled it right. Spell check didn't catch it.